So today I'm with
Kate.
Kate. Today we're going to talk about ADHD.
Yes.
Tell me about this one. Like you are a master of the.
Yes. So I'm an ADHD educator. First of all, it's not about attention. Let's
Wow.
get that out of
Really?
the way. It's not about attention or hyperactivity. So, well, it isn't. Look at so.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, attention is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So let's address the first part. I do not have an attention deficit. We don't have a deficit of attention. Deficit would mean a lacking of attention, right?
Yeah.
What it is we are not able to regulate our attention the way that neurotypical people can. So when neurotypical person is in class and the teacher's talking, they can kind of filter out the sounds of the AC, the guy tapping, everything else. They can filter that out and regulate their attention to focus on the teacher. For an ADHD person, we don't have that ability to filter as much. So we actually have an abundance of attention that we pay attention to sort of everything.
Yeah.
And it's an inability to like regulate where it goes. So even if I understand, I should be looking at the teacher, right? Or I should listen to the teacher. If something is distracting me too much, I can't turn that off and focus on that. So that's the inability to regulate where the attention goes.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's not a deficit. No, and when you can make environments that are more friendly to that, to understanding that, like, you know, and that's why even things like the fidget toys, that helps people regulate their attention because it distracts them, but not enough to.
Yeah.
So it gives them basically, we're not going to multitasking, but it's like it's a secondary focus. And the hyperactivity part, okay, we are hyperactive, but not in the sense of what you probably think of. What do you think of when you hear hyperactivity? What would that mean?
Like you were so high.
I feel people think it's like we can't sit still, right? The little boy who's running around, who's like jumping off the walls. That can be hyperactivity, but particularly for women, it's me. I talk a lot. That's hyperactivity. Talking a lot. Thinking constantly.
Yeah.
Like
Restlessness.
Restlessness.
Yeah.
Even girls will have smaller stems, like if you've ever seen the hair twirler. Biting your lip.
Oh, you do
like
something.
those like those kids who like tear apart their kishigoma, right?
Kishigoma,
You know, if you're that's those are stimming activity. Those are all signs of hyperactivity.
Yes, yeah.
And hyperactivity is also about impulsivity and inhibition.
I see.
So we are impulsive. So when you think about hyperactivity, it's not just like moving around, but it can be impulsivity.
Oh.
And that can be interrupting people. That can be speaking out of turn in class. That can be buying things that you don't need.
Oh, sometimes some people buy it.
Yeah, shopping addiction is not addiction. I mean, shopping is a problem for people with an ADHD.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's an addiction, but addiction is a problem with people.
So you don't care how much money you have, and then if I buy this one,
it's more than not thinking it through. I want it. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to do it now. There's not a very famous doctor, Dr. Ned Hallowell. I can give you his book. He's pretty old in his studies. He uses the line that we have a Ferrari engine with bicycle brakes. So there's no stop. There's not the stopping.
I see.
So there's nothing to be like, no, don't buy it, or maybe you don't. It's just like, we'll do it.
Yeah. And you regret it later.
Sometimes. I think what I do is make people understand that more, because I don't think impulsive shopping can be bad unless it nothing is bad until it becomes an addiction or a problem.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're impulsively shopping things that you definitely don't need, that you're not going to use, and you want to stop doing that, that's a problem.
What about relationships issues? Like,
Yes.
it's gonna be
Yes.
serious, isn't it?
Well, yeah, now we're getting all the bad points. There's good things too, but no. ADHD relationships are higher to have infidelity problems for those problems, that adrenaline seeking, that inhibition, that lack of stopping,
Yeah.
impulsivity. So it's not necessarily that they're deceitful people or they
Yeah.
want to hurt this, but
Yeah.
there are many cases of ADHD people that will commit infidelity out of that same impulsivity sort of trait, or that inability to kind of
Yeah.
stop.
So you have to be like cautious when.
I mean, it's not like all ADHD people are going to cheat, but
Yeah.
it's just even for that. And I think probably you don't talk about this on your channel so much, but the rise of things like ethical non-monogamy have been very good for neurodivergent relationships.
Oh, like polyamorous.
No, it's just ethical. Like, you know, you have your rules, but you're allowed to do it, but you love that. Like, and I think in the past, since ethical non-monogamy was like never spoken about, it was like, so I feel ADHD people now, if they can find partners or you set your boundaries. So I think there's a difference between disrespecting somebody's boundaries and lying and betraying to them versus like if you're an ADHD person and you have these and you discuss it with your partner.
So ADHD people are likely to not having their own boundary? What do you mean?
We lack, okay, so we'll get to the other part. So first of all, I talked about the hyperactivity, because now we're getting into the other nitty parts.
Okay, yeah.
So part of it is it's not the attention deficit and it's not this hyperactivity. It is a lack of dopamine. We have less dopamine and we have less norepinephrine, which would be adrenaline. Okay?
Yeah.
And we have a different nervous system. So neurotypical people would have a priority-based nervous system, which means they can look at their house, how dirty it is. They can prioritize, which is the most important task to do. They can do that task, and then once they finish the task, they get a reward of dopamine. That's what the world is built on. Do this and finish this and you get dopamine. ADHD people don't get dopamine from finishing tasks. That's not where we get our dopamine.
Sorry, you mean you don't need much dopamine?
We need a lot of dopamine.
You need a lot, yeah, sorry.
And we don't get dopamine from just normal things that neurotypical people do.
It's like a reward system.
Yes.
Yeah.
So our reward system's different. We get rewarded on urgency, novelty, interest, just things we like, and challenge. That's also why we buy the new things, because novelty gives us dopamine. So that's what I said. Impulsive spending, like the novelty part, is not necessarily bad, because I buy a lot of stationery paper.
Yeah.
How much is paper? It's not that expensive.
Yeah.
But if I buy a new planner and I use it for 2 weeks, it costs 1,700 yen. How much was that productivity worth for me? I call, this is trademark, return on investment dopamine. So that's different. So if I'm going to spend money that way, I don't think it's a bad thing. But if you're buying like 5 different handbags that are $5,000 each in different colors and not using them, that's the interest system's a big thing. So that's why when people are like, just write the email or just do the thing, right?
Yep.
We can't do it because there is no reward for us in doing the task. We don't get a dopamine reward from finishing the task.
Very interesting.
And the other major part, besides this reward system and the dopamine and the norepinephrine, which is adrenaline, we'll just call it adrenaline, is what's called executive functions.
Planning, right? Planning.
Executive functions, I call it, the secretary of your brain,
The frontal lobe,
your prefrontal cortex.
Yeah.
Basically, it's the doing part of your brain versus the knowing part of your brain. So back here we have all the knowledge, and here's where you have the actions.
Yeah.
But there's 7 major executive functions: self-awareness, inhibition, verbal working memory, nonverbal working memory, emotional regulation, motivation, and I think the other is problem solving off the top of my head.
Yeah, yeah.
So when they're like brushing your teeth, most neurotypical people will say it's one task.
Yeah.
It's not one task.
It's many steps.
Yeah, so we don't have that automation through the executive function.
That's really interesting. Okay, let's say like you come here a little bit late today.
I said that's
But let's say, okay, you wake up today and you brush your teeth, and then whatever, you take a train or car and come to here. What's your thoughts around?
well, like, so it's like, okay, that comes down to our nonverbal working memory too, which is a thing called time blindness. If you ever hear an ADHD person say they're time blind, this is a real thing. Time blindness exists. So what I believe will take me 20 minutes is usually going to take me an hour. What I believe will take 5 minutes will never take 5 minutes. So either we are very overestimated with time or very underestimated with time.
So you definitely need more time.
You need more time, but we also don't have any concept of time. Like, we have zero concept of time.
That's
I don't know what
interesting.
5 minutes
That's
is.
so
I don't know what 5 days is. I don't know what day it is now. I don't know what happened. Like, because time, this is like,
That's quite interesting.
so time blindness is real. And then it comes down to other working memory problems. So it was, okay, I gotta go. I got up, I got dressed, I did this. I put my makeup on today. So that take extra time. So I actually started getting ready at like 10. So this would have given me plenty of time to get here. But then it was, oh, I'm gonna wear this bag and not that bag, and so I have to change all that. And then it was all those last minute decisions. Oh, I left my sunglasses upstairs. Oh, I didn't walk the dog. Oh, the dog needs his medicine before we go. It's
Oh.
and then all of those
Yes.
add up.